Hello, it's 7 o'clock Eastern Standard, and we'll see if anybody can join in live. I did try to approve everybody who wanted to be in the group, and I know that it could be around the dinner time for many of you, so I'm not sure how it's gonna go, but I know it takes a few minutes for the live feed to kind of pop up. So we'll see if you are able to see this. Make sure to comment so that I know that you're here. Oh, good. Emily's here. Okay, good. So just comment so that I know that you are catching this and that I'm in the right group. We should be in the Q&A with Genevieve group, where I get to share my stamping stories and share a little, little stamping with you. I prepared a couple projects to stamp. So just comment and let me know that you're here, because it's always more fun when people are live and tuning in live, because it's meant to be a Q&A. So it's more fun if there's Q's, questions. Oh, good, Maureen's here. Okay, good. I was just saying a Q&A is actually not quite the same if there's no Q's coming through. So you guys already can, whoever's joined in, you can start thinking about what questions you might have for me. And then if you're watching the replay, that's totally fine as well. That's the good thing about Facebook Live. Hopefully, if everything goes okay, it can just post and people can watch the replay, and I can always check the feed and make sure that I'm answering all the questions. So welcome. Oh, Gail made it too. That's great. I know you weren't sure if you would find the group or whatever, but I'm glad you're here. Okay, so why don't we get started? I know there's 3 of us already. I saw Emily, Maureen, and Gail. So welcome. This is my first ever Q&A type of thing in a Facebook group, so we'll see how it goes. But I think everybody's trying new things during this pandemic, so you never know till you try, right? So we'll just have to imagine that we're together in our little group and we're just chatting away, and we can just kind of be in our own little bubble here. So tonight's stamping event is a little bit different because it's not kind of just a usual just stamping. It's going to be a little bit different because I'm going to give you guys lots of time to ask questions so that I can answer them. And as well, I'll be telling stories about how I started in my stamping journey, some of my favorite memories in my stamping journey, and as well, a little bit about the Stampin' Up starter kit. Okay, so why don't I dive in, and I am going to watch for questions coming through. So you can ask questions anytime. Every question you ask will be entered for a raffle draw. I have a little stamp set to give away. Maureen's already eager to hear about the pudding story. Okay, so I will get to the pudding story. So make sure you're asking your questions, because every question you ask will get you an extra draw ticket. And since there's only 3 of you guys right now, the chances of winning something is pretty high. Okay, so why don't I start with my story of how I even got started with stamping. Some of you may have heard this before, some of you maybe not. But I had actually been doing a little bit of scrapbooking before. This is a long time ago now. We're talking, 15 years ago maybe. I had been doing a little scrapbooking, had kind of discovered scrapbooking. Actually, I did it with my friend, is actually Gail's daughter, my friend Anne. The 2 of us used to do it together, and it was something we enjoyed. And then one of my friends from church invited me to her house and for a stamping party, which I wasn't too familiar with what that was, but because at the time I had like a little baby. I had the 3 kids, so the youngest he was like just a newborn, so I was pretty happy to get out of the house. Whatever, I didn't know what we were doing, but I went, and it was fun. It was fun. I couldn't believe that I made like a pretty card. And I remember that first stamping party, I was like, okay, I should buy something, but I don't know what. It was so overwhelming, the catalog. I don't know if you guys remember the first time looking at a Stampin' Up catalog. it's so overwhelming. So I think I bought a black ink pad and one stamp set. That's all I bought because I am the type of person that likes to be on a budget and not go crazy with my spending. That's now out the window now that I make my own stamping money. I feel like I can spend whatever I want because I earned it stamping. So, but then, back then, I bought one black ink pad and one stamp set. And I tried to create with it, but it wasn't going that well. But I had the lady come to my house and do a stamping party with my friends, and then I learned a little bit more. So that's where I started like kind of learning. I think I bought ink pads, different colored ink pads then, on my second stamping experience. But then I still couldn't like make anything as nice as when the demonstrator had come to my house. Like I just couldn't get the hang of it. And then I discovered you could look on the internet and copy ideas. So that opened a whole door for me. It was fantastic. And I just learned I just had to buy the right stuff, and then I could make the things that I saw on the internet. In those days, there was no Pinterest or whatever. I think I just did maybe Google Images or something like that. So that's kind of how I started falling in love with stamping and realizing it was okay if I wasn't creating completely by myself, that I could copy other things, and I still loved everything I made. So since I started buying a little more, it totally just made sense. One day I decided I was going to get the starter kit because it was such a good deal. So it's still a really good deal. It's an even better deal now because when I bought it, the starter kit was like $300 and you had to get like certain things in the kit. But I needed those things anyway, like the mist and the scrub and special scissors. There were all these things in the kit, and so it was still a good deal. But now the deal is even better because you only pay $135, no tax, no shipping, but you get to choose $165 of whatever you want. So it's way better now because back then I had to like get a specific kit that had specific things in it. You could kind of substitute some of the stamp sets, but you couldn't substitute anything. So yes, Maureen's like, what? Yeah, it was like $300 or $400. I can't remember, but it still felt like a deal because I was getting all these new stamps. Yeah, so that's why I got the starter kit in the first place, was the deal. And it's a way better deal now. And then I think I mentioned in some of my emails, hopefully you guys saw, that there's like a deal going on right now where Stampin' Up! Will throw in 2 extra stamp sets and 16 kind of pre-cut packets. So that's how I got started with Stampin' Up! And it's way more fun to do with friends, so I started doing it with some friends and sharing it and stamping and sharing and starting a little club, and things just grew. And now it's been almost 13 years. I can't believe it. This fall will be 13 years. I always measure the years of being a demonstrator is kind of related to the age of my youngest son because they're kind of linked up there. So this year will be 13 years. And it's been a wild ride. So this is where I'm going to tell some of my stories. So, okay, you got to actually ask questions to get the raffle tickets. You can't just do exclamations, Maureen, although I love your exclamations. Her latest exclamation is like, what? I don't know what you're surprised about. Is it the 13 years or anyway, so some of the crazy stories that have happened to me when I've been a demonstrator. Okay, the first crazy story, I mean, I still think it's crazy, is there's so many crazy stories. Well, I'll just talk about the pudding one. Okay, so I think I went to my very first Stampin' Up! Convention. I can't remember what year it was. That has totally escaped me. So it was a Stampin' Up! Convention. And so Stampin' Up! Is really like family oriented. And so like community oriented. So they love to like do things that bring people together and to have fun or whatever. So they had like this huge room in the hotel where you would like go and you could look at the different products, and they had games, and like you were just mingling around this gigantic room, which during COVID is like a really bizarre memory, right? Like a whole bunch of people in one room and you could just like crowd around and look at new products. But anyway, They actually had a games thing. There was like a stage, and like the staff members were kind of on the stage, and they were doing different games, and then they were just like asking for volunteers. And so I didn't even know what I was volunteering for, but I was like, yeah, pick me. So I'm jumping up and down. And so he's still there. He's in charge of international. He's the like VP of international something, Dave Baugh. So he comes down, he picks me as his partner for the game. I don't even know what we're doing. And you know what the game is? The game is a pie eating contest. So the staff member, Dave Baugh, he and I are supposed to be like partners. And then there's like other pairs, you know, other staff member that had chosen, other volunteers. And we were like, our hands were tied like behind our backs, and we had this big plastic sheet on, and we had to like eat this chocolate pie. And I guess the winner was the one that ate it first or whatever. So like, not a word of a lie, I had chocolate in my hair, up my nose, in my ear, also in my mouth, like all over my face. I'm like eating all this, like it was disgusting. It was so disgusting. And then, and I remember when the bell rang, I remember like looking at Dave and going, do I get anything for this? Do I win anything? So it turns out I got a package of DSP for my participation, because I didn't win the eating contest. I don't know who won and what they won, but anyway, I didn't leave empty-handed. I got a package of DSP. But what's so crazy? So this gives you an idea about the company, that the vice president, like the vice president of whatever he is, international, like I'm telling you, they're up there and they rub shoulders with us. They love talking to us, and they will eat pie without hands with us. So they're totally down to earth, very down to earth kind of company. So anyway, the funniest thing is the next day in the hotel, I saw Dave in the elevator, because I guess we were all kind of staying at the same hotel. And he's like, oh, like, do you still have like chocolate around? And I'm like, it's so disgusting. And so for like 2 days afterwards, I had really weird smell in my nose. It was like moldy pudding in my nose. It was like disgusting. And so the only reason I knew it was normal is because I bumped into him in the elevator. Dave, who was my partner in the pie eating thing, he also had that as well. So, I mean, that's how much we had our faces in the pie. So even when I've seen Dave, so other cool things, I mean, that's kind of a weird and strange story, but I've had other very cool experiences in my Stampin' Up! Journey. My very first incentive trip to Disney World, I remember like my mind being blown when I saw we got to go to like this hospitality room, and the room was filled with candy, and they gave me an envelope, and I look in the envelope and it's all this Mickey Mouse money, Mickey Mouse cash, so that I could go and buy my meals while I was on the incentive trip. So just stuff like that. Very cool experiences. So definitely getting the starter kit is a great deal, but it opens the door to all these other potential fun experiences that I never would have had. So I'm super grateful for that experience. Lots of other stories, but I'll stop talking now. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't talking too much. But yeah, now's really the time where I want to turn it over to you guys. So remember, you're going to get a raffle ticket for every question you ask. So ask me questions about my journey, and ask me questions about the starter kit, because I think the biggest question I get is like, what's the catch? Like, the starter kit is like, you can pick $165 worth of stuff. So I mean, I would recommend the cut and emboss machine. If you don't have any kind of embossing or cutting machine, get the cut and emboss machine. It's $163. Normally if you buy it retail, it's plus tax, plus shipping. But when you get it as part of your starter kit, but you can choose whatever you want, as long as it doesn't go over $165. You only have to pay $135, no tax, no shipping. So that's the first wow thing. And yeah, but people want to know what the catch is. There's no catch, but I'm going to leave it to you to see if there's any questions that come through. So I know you'll have to kind of type away. Okay, Maureen, raffle ticket for Maureen. I love her question. What was your most embarrassing moment during demonstrating? I'll have to think about it. You guys keep asking questions while I think about it. Um, I've had a lot of embarrassing moments, I have to say. I think one embarrassing moment, this is the one that comes to mind right now, is I was doing a home party at someone's house, and I went to like hand out the make and takes and start demonstrating the little make and take, and I realized I had forgotten to bring the ink pad. And not only did I forget to bring the ink pad, I forgot to bring scissors. So there was at least two things missing. I feel like there was something else. Like I just remember thinking that part, I might have forgotten order forms. That was the party where it was like, oh my gosh, you'd never know that I've done this for years. I'm so sorry, friends. But I was kind of saved because in those days I carried around a bucket called the booking bucket. So anybody who wanted to book a party could pick something out of the bucket. And it just happened that in the bucket there was like little ink spots. So, I remember that the card was supposed to be Coastal Cabana was the color we were supposed to use, but there was no Coastal Cabana. We had to use Night of Navy. So anyway, that was probably one of the most embarrassing moments. Okay, a raffle ticket for Gail. She's asking, have you ever volunteered again? I volunteer with Stampin' Up all the time. They have tons of opportunities for us as demonstrators to volunteer because they're pretty, as I said, they're pretty down to earth. So they're always asking our opinion. I just saw a post today on Facebook. They were asking for 100 demonstrators who would be willing to try some new product or something. So have I ever volunteered again? Yes, I volunteer all the time. I'm always offering to volunteer, or sometimes they'll ask me to be a part of a special group to share my opinion or whatever. I'm on like a paper pumpkin group kind of thing where I volunteer my time. So yeah, I volunteer all the time, but I don't know whether I'd volunteer in another game show again. if that is, yeah, because that pudding one was a little nasty, but I still think it was worth it for the free DSP. Okay, other questions. Who has any other questions? Oh, I see a new eyeball. So if there's someone watching and you didn't introduce yourself in the beginning, just say hi. You kind of missed a bit of my stamping story, but I'm really opening the floor up for questions about my stamping journey, questions about the starter kit. I'll try and remember questions people have asked me in the past to see if I can get any of them. I'm trying to remember some of the questions people have asked me in the past. But Emily, do you have any questions? Are you still on? Go ahead. I think, did you get my text? I was saying, Emily, that I think you have a code for a starter kit. So you might actually have more questions with regards to the starter kit. Let me see. Because if there's not, that's okay. I just thought, I'm trying to think if there's other questions that are pretty common. I do get questions sometimes about taxes, about tax implications with the starter kit. And so, oh, hang on, let me answer Emily's question first, because if it flies off the screen, I'll forget. I have the worst memory. It sounds like you get amazing rewards being a demonstrator. What has been one of your most memorable gift or favorite gift? Yes, this is very difficult because I have gotten a lot of gifts. Stampin' Up has been super generous. Most memorable gift. It's hard. I've gotten a lot, but one that sticks in my head right now is, I think it was like a couple of years ago. It might have been 2 years ago, maybe 3, where Stampin' Up, I don't know if it was the first time they did it, but they were doing like a global top 100 in the world kind of thing, ranking. And they decided that everyone who ranked in the top 100 or ranked top in their country would get a special gift. And the gift was this beautiful luggage, a beautiful valise, it was like a carry-on hard case luggage. And I think that was a winner for me. It was just the most beautiful piece of luggage I have ever owned. And so I'm really careful with it when I take it out. I do not ever put it in the machine to go under the plane. And then just last year, I bought this, you can actually buy, it almost looks like a bathing suit cover. It's like this neoprene thing you can put around your carry-on so that it doesn't get scratched. So I love this luggage. After this, I'll post a picture of my luggage. So that was a special gift I got. But really, I would say the best gift is the friendships. I have made so many great friendships through the Stampin' Up! Family, and through, customers like Emily, and you and I never would have met if it wasn't for stamping. And Maureen is actually already, she's not going to buy the starter kit because she already did a few years ago. And Maureen and I are friends. She's on Team Stick, and we never would have been friends. So I would say that's the other big gift that's been given to me, not on purpose through Stampin' Up, but really probably the most meaningful gift is the gift of the friendships that I never would have made otherwise. Okay, Gail's asking, what is the most exciting new product in the past 13 years? Let me think. I don't even remember the product, but I remember at a convention, they were unveiling something from the holiday catalog, and I remember actually getting tears of happiness. Isn't that ridiculous? And I'm trying to remember what it was. It might have just been the scoring tool. It might have been the scoring tool that brought such happiness to me the year that they unveiled that. But I would say, I guess the most impactful product was the Big Shot, because I was a demonstrator before the Big Shot. Well, I guess now it's this cut and emboss machine, but just basically a die cutting machine. That I remember when that was brand new, and I didn't know how to use it, and that was probably the most transformative product, because think of all the embossing folders and dies that they've sold over the years since they introduced the die cutting machine. They wouldn't even have had all those extra products. It would have just been paper and stamps and embellishments, right? So I think that is probably the most transformative. Okay, keep asking questions so you guys can get raffle tickets. And then if there's no more, then we'll just finish up and I'll do a draw. But I might wait a little while because some people might not have been able to tune in live and we'll watch the replay. Oh no, we're gonna do stamping. Duh. Okay, so while you guys are thinking, I would have been so mad if I turned off the camera. Okay, let's do some stamping. So let me flip it around. But you can keep asking questions. Oh, my mount has gone totally haywire here. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. Let me turn on some light. I wanted to show you some stamping. We can't have a Q&A stamping chat without actually doing stamping. Okay, so hopefully you can see this okay. Okay, so let's start with this one. I'm actually using our vanilla note cards and envelopes and the gorgeous Gilded Autumn Designer Series paper. Okay, so if you're not familiar with our note cards and envelopes, they already come pre-cut and pre-scored, so it's a real time saver that way. Okay, and then I just layered these pieces on. So this is crumb cake. We'll layer that on top. Where's my adhesive? Okay, so I think we'll put this on top. Okay, so one of the things that I love to do for those who buy the starter kit is you get to be part of my Team Stick Stampers. And each month with my Team Stick Stampers, we always have a team get together. And part of that get together each month is that there is the opportunity to get make and take supplies. And so this month, this is one of the projects that they're going to be getting. So anybody who's interested on Team Sticks gets 4 make and take projects for just $7. I mail it out, I pay the shipping, and it's just my way of gifting Team Stick. So it's one of the team perks. So this is the Gilded Autumn DSP. So I've layered that on top. Isn't that gorgeous paper? And then we've got some of the copper foil. So maybe I'll put that down now. Okay, I got everything ready, but I think I forgot to take out the stamp set. I hope I can find it. Okay, let's see. Okay, so to coordinate with the DSP, obviously I'm going to use this stamp set, the Beautiful Autumn stamp set. And I'll do the saying, the life is better with you. I think it's here. Oh, Maureen's asking a question. Great, you got to get those raffle tickets. Was there ever a product or tool that you never liked? Let me think on that while I'm stamping. There's always things that maybe I had a little trouble with. I'm trying to think. They discontinued wood mount stamps, and I know a lot of people didn't like wood mount stamps, but I actually wasn't one of those people. I liked wood mount stamps. Okay, so I'm going to stamp that. Hopefully I can get this centered. Yep. Okay, so we'll put that on top. See how easy it is to create something simple yet pretty? I'm telling you, I give all the credit to Stampin' Up's products, making it easy to coordinate things. So let me put the dimensionals. I guess, I can't even remember what they're called now, Maureen. Is it, I don't know if it's still in the catalog. The second round of it was called Pigment Sprinkles or something. So I never really, I tried it a few times. I used it for a technique class, and it's pretty cool. The thing that I didn't like about it, oh, see this DSP? The punch matches perfectly. Okay, I'm reading Emily's question. Okay, I'll tell you that story. Let me finish making the make and take, and then I'll tell you the story. Okay, I'll tell you the story. Okay, so the great thing is the DSP matches with the punch, so I'm just going to line that up. And then we can put a little leaf right there. So this is one of the make and takes that my team members can get. They just order it. Each month I always have like 4 different, at least 4 different projects. Sometimes it's more. If they don't order it, that's okay. It used to be we used to meet in person and I'd have it all prepped and they'd come and stamp. But now with COVID, I just mail it out to them, whoever asks for it. They have to use, obviously I don't send the stamp set and the ink because many of them might have that. But I do send all the pre-cut pieces. Okay, so this is one of the projects that my team members will get this month, those that registered. And then the other thing is, but everyone gets the tutorials. So everyone on the team gets a copy of the tutorials. It's just one of the perks of being on the team. So there's lots of perks of being on the Team Stick Stampers. Okay, so want me to do one more stamping demo? Because I had another one prepped. So I totally can. And then I'll answer your question, Emily. Keep asking questions if you have them, because then I can do them at the end. Okay, let's do this one here. So these note cards and envelopes make it so easy. Okay, so if any of you decide you want to take advantage of the starter kit, I would really encourage it because Stampin' Up! Has that special going on right now. And you too will get the tutorials for these projects completely free just for being on the team. Okay, so this is for, these are our September projects. Okay. So, you know what? I think I need another layer here. This looks too plain. Let's do one more layer. Did I knew I cut it, but I didn't put it in the envelope. It's just over here. Okay. So have you guys, do you guys have a favorite from the holiday catalog? I've been holding out, haven't been doing as many Christmas cards because I'm like, it can't be Christmas time yet. So I've been doing fall, I've been doing birthday, I've been doing all kinds of things. Okay, so I liked putting that extra layer here. I'll hold it up, it might be hard to see on the camera. Okay, so I think it's just, I mean, I could have put it flat on the note card base, but I thought it was nice to just have that little extra layer. Okay, and then this again, the copper foil will go across there. So I kind of chose one portrait style card, one landscape card. Okay, there we go. And then let's stamp the sentiment here. I love the saying, I love the font on this one. My heart is grateful for you. There's so many people. And we'll use the same early espresso. It's great for fall. Okay. Hang on to your question, Emily. Don't worry, I'll come back to it. I love this sentiment. Okay. Keep asking questions if you have any. And then I'm going to use the ovals. So can you see that DSP? The copper and the gold foil embedded right in the paper. I love it. Okay. So let's see. Yeah, I think we can cut that out there. So I'm just using the layering oval dies. You can tell they're well used and well loved. Okay. Okay. And then we'll roll that and we'll finish up that card. Okay. So Maureen, I'll ask you a question. I don't know if you're still on, Maureen. Since you already are a Team Stick girl, I had another piece of foil here. Oh, here. What is one of the favorite things for you being on, having bought the starter kit? What is one of your favorite things? Maybe you can answer that. And then, oh, I don't want to lose this. Okay. Because it might be good for people, even those watching the replay. It's one thing for me to say, oh, it's fun to be on Team Stick, but it might be better to hear from someone who's not the team leader. So if you can, Maureen, you can jot that in the comments. Okay. That's a great question, Gail. Gail's like, when will you start the Christmas cards? They are my favorite. I know, I have been holding off. I'm trying to make summer last as long as possible, in case you can't tell. So I punched out a little maple leaf with the copper foil. And I think I'm going to pop it here. Where's my glue dots? And then, Oh, that's your favorite, Maureen? The family-like connection with the girls on this team stick. And you know what? That means a lot coming from you because Maureen lives all the way in Newfoundland, kind of around St. John's, Newfoundland. So it's not like she's physically close to me and Markham. Um, she's actually probably one of the furthest away. I'm trying to find sorry, I'm looking for my thread. So the fact that she still feels connected to us, that means a lot. That's awesome. Okay, I can't find my linen thread, so I'm literally gonna like steal it off this jingle bell, which I found in the drawer. Okay. Yes, and Maureen is one person who said, you know, she just kind of got the kit because it was such a good deal. She wasn't really planning on doing any classes or anything, but it turns out she started. But there's never any pressure. No one asked about that, but there's actually, Stampin' Up! Does not require you to run classes or parties or anything like that. So there's absolutely no obligation, but Maureen wanted to give it a try, and I know she's had fun doing that. Okay, there we go. So here's the other card. So these are just two of the cards that I will be showcasing at our next team get together. Our next team get together is September the 15th. So if anyone wants to join in, you can let me know. But as I said, they'll actually get a tutorial for 4 different cards. And there's actually a box that these cards go into. So I don't want to show it all now, just to keep it a bit of a surprise for Maureen or any of the other Team Stick girls on here. But if any of you decide to get the starter kit, you also will get the tutorials totally free. And then if you want the make and take pieces, it's just $7. So best deal ever. Okay, so yeah, tons of wonderful support. Okay, so I will flip the camera around now that I have done the stamping. And then I'll answer, I think I saw 2 questions. And then I have to answer Gail's question about when I'm going to start Christmas cards. Okay. So let's flip it around. Okay. So I'm guessing, thanks, I'm glad you like the cards. Okay, I'm thinking starting Christmas cards, I'll probably start them I'll probably start showing them in my Tuesday at 2s like this month, right? It's September now, so don't worry. Tuesday at 2, Gail, I know you normally watch a replay, or if you join in, you'll start to see some Christmas cards, especially since my product of the month is the gold hoops, so I'm sure you'll start seeing that. The other question I saw was, how do I like the new cut and emboss machine? I love it. I love it. It's very smooth. I've been using it all the time since I got it, which was in August. So I haven't had any problems. Now, Emily, I don't think you have any other kind of cutting or embossing machine, right? So I would just go ahead and get that because it is great to use. I need to try it a bit more with the really intricate die cuts, but like hands down, if you don't have any die cutting machine, just get this cut and emboss machine because it works with all our dies and embossing folders, and it coordinates great. Okay, I know I saw another question here. I answered about that, about starting Christmas card. Oh, Emily wants the story about interrogating the CEO. Do the sides fold in? Yes, so it's great for storage. Okay, so this is it here, okay, and then it literally just, the sides go up like this. That's it. And so then it takes, you know, when you're storing it or being neat and tidy, it just folds in like that. Okay, you're ready for the CEO story? Okay, so this is a true story. As I told you at the beginning, my story of joining Stampin' Up! Is very familiar, like very similar story to many other people who buy the starter kit. I would say most of us are not in it for the business aspect of it. I really just wanted to get some things at a great price. But I do also really like, being with other women and having that meaningful time together and all of that. So I thought stamping is and card making is such a great way to connect with other women. So that's how I started running classes or whatever. But when I started running classes, oh, none of you asked this question, but one of the things that was on my mind is that in order to keep my demonstrator perks, okay, there are lots of demonstrator perks, like you get 20% discount on all future things that you buy after you get the starter kit. You get VIP access to see the new catalogs first. You get to order first. So that's been really helpful during some of the supply chain issues that have been going around with COVID, so that I can order things first before they kind of sell out sometimes. So those are great perks. So I was like, okay, I want to keep these perks. I really like that when I run a class here and there, I get a free stamp set, you know, from the host rewards or whatever. So I wanted to keep those perks. And so I was like, okay, so if I just have my club girls, and we were all friends, and everybody, you know, would agree to order. Each time I ran a little class, they would order a little bit, and it would just help me to stay active, keep the discount for myself, and give me the blessing of being able to stamp with other women or whatever. Nowhere in my mind was this whole idea of like having a team, selling starter kits. That was like not in my radar at all, because I had no desire to grow a team and a business and become a stamping superstar or anything like that. I literally was wanting to enjoy a fun activity with my friends and get a discount on my supplies, and that was it. So, but you know, like as I ran classes and stuff, like it's not like I could erase that part of the catalog that said the starter kit or on the website. It's not like that stuff wasn't on there. So somebody in my neighborhood, somebody I didn't even know at all, I think, literally went onto my website and bought the starter kit. So she was like maybe my second team member ever. So she didn't even know what she was doing, but she just needed some stuff, wanted to get some stuff or whatever. So I didn't know what to do. So I'm getting to the point of the story, Emily, in case you're wondering. So far, the CEO has not shown up in the story at all, but I promise she will. So then what happened is I was like, okay, so this lady knows nothing about how Stampin' Up works or anything. She just got the starter kit because it was a better deal. So I just said, why don't you come over? I'm doing a workshop at my house. Why don't you just come over and watch how I do it and what I do? So she came, she watched, then she left, and then she just started doing her own parties and workshops. Like I really didn't give her any guidance. She just saw that one thing that I did, and then, because it's not like we were like really good friends or anything. I mean, I didn't even know her before she signed up on my website. But we became friends. But anyway, that's what happens when you're stamping. So then she went off and started doing her own workshops and doing her own thing, and that was all good. So it turns out that there was a contest going on. I knew about the contest, but I didn't really think about the contest. So the contest that Stampin' Up! Was offering, it was called Workshop of a Lifetime. Okay? Workshop of a Lifetime. And the CEO would come to your house and run a workshop at your house if you won the contest. And the way to win this contest was to have the most people buy the starter kit from you in a set period of time. Okay? But since I had no inkling, thinking anything about having a team, it's not like I was trying to win the contest or anything. But they gave one workshop of a lifetime away to one person in each title category. So as it happened, this girl, her name was Esther, actually won in, I think she was in the lowest category because she, had just joined up or whatever. But she did have someone join her team. So, or maybe she had tied with someone else, but she had the higher sales. So like the CEO, whose name was Shelley Gardner, she's not the CEO anymore, but she was the co-founder and the CEO at the time. She came to Markham to do a workshop for Esther in Markham at her house, right? Isn't that crazy? So I only found that out because I saw it on the website. I'm like, Esther won? And then I'm like calling her. I'm like, did you win this workshop of a lifetime? Is Shelly coming to Markham? So true story. This is totally true story. So then she's like, yeah, you know, you're not allowed to come to the workshop because they had these rules that it had to be all new people, like pretty much brand new people to Stampin' Up. So Esther had to go find these like strangers that knew nothing about Stampin' Up to go to the workshop. But she said that she was allowed to organize something else afterwards with her team or with, and you know, other stamping people. So then what ended up happening is that we met at Eastside Mario's after her workshop, which is like a restaurant in Markham on Highway 7 there, like pretty close to me. So as this was all coming down, I was like, okay, this is my chance. I did not understand why I would ever want to build a team, why I should ever sell a starter kit, because to me, I was like, it's better if, you know, we just have fun, and if people want to buy stuff from me, that's fine. And that helps me to keep my status as a demonstrator, which nobody has asked what it is, but it's in Canadian dollars, it's about $396 over a 3-month period each quarter. Anyway, so that's why I didn't really think too much about it. So then literally I'm at the Eastside Mario's and I had decided, this is it. If anyone is going to explain why I would sell a starter kit, Shelly Gardner, the CEO and co-founder, is going to answer my question. So she was there with her daughter, Sarah. This was so many years ago, I cannot tell you. It must have been like 10 years ago, right? Because it's almost 13 years now. So in retrospect, maybe it was rude. I didn't mean to be rude, but possibly it could have been rude because I literally just came out and said, well, why should I sell starter kits? I said, I just don't see the point. And so like Sarah, the daughter, and Shelly, the mom, they looked at each other and then they tried to answer my questions. They told me things that I already knew, things like, as you build your team, you know, it will help contribute to you earning rewards such as the incentive trip. And I was like, I'm not in it to win any awards. I'm not in it to win a trip. I don't care. I'm never going to win a trip. So I'm like, that means nothing to me. And, you know, they kept giving like these different reasons, how it would help my income. Having a team would help my income grow. And I'm like, well, I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it to have fun with my friends. So that means nothing to me. So bless their hearts, bless their hearts. They told me all these reasons why I should be interested in helping people join my team. I mean, my 2 team members were there at the dinner. That's it. So then what struck me, 2 things struck me. One is that, so that was me interrogating, like nonstop. I was just, well, yes, it may have been rude in retrospect, but it makes for a great story. So one thing they did say is that I would have experiences that I never would otherwise have, that my life would be richer if I built a Stampin' team and had that kind of community around me. And so I couldn't really disagree with that because I was having dinner with the CEO and her daughter in my hometown because of something that my team member did, right? So that in fact was true. So I was like, okay, I could kind of see that. And that kind of resonated with me because I feel that the people part of it is really the most important. So it was pretty cool that my team member got to experience this, and it was pretty cool that I got to experience it with her. It definitely made both our lives more interesting and brought us closer together and everything. So I was like, okay, I could kind of understand that. And then the other thing that struck me is, I mean, it had already been agreed upon that we'd go out for dinner and that everybody, it was like going Dutch, everybody would just pay their own bill and whatever. So that was fine. But then I kind of saw Shelly talking to her daughter and just saying, oh, our waitress has been so amazing, completely run off her feet. We'll have to make sure that we give her, you know, something extra kind of thing. And I just thought, you know what? These are nice people. They're just nice people, genuine people. I don't think they're lying to me about the benefit of sharing the starter kit and growing a team. So I just thought, I don't really understand, but maybe I'll just give it a shot. And so then it's like many things in life, you don't understand until you've actually experienced it. And so now with our Team Stick Stampers, I completely understand. I completely understand the kind of community that can be built. I've learned so much from my Team Stick Stampers and other demonstrators around the world. I've made friendships I never would have made. I hope that I've been able to impart some joy and knowledge to my team. And yeah, if I hadn't started sharing the starter kit, I never would have learned that. But it all happened at an Eastside Mario's down the street from my house while I interrogated the CEO. So that's my interrogation story. So I don't know if that helps give you a picture of what the Stampin' Up! Journey is like, and what it's like to, how there's really no strings attached to getting the starter kit. So if you're thinking about it, go ahead. If you're shy to ask me questions on this Facebook Live, go ahead and just message me. I am happy to talk if you have any more specific questions. So Emily is asking me, if you're just tuning in, I'm giving raffle tickets for anybody who asks questions about the starter kit, about my Stampin' Up! Journey. Okay, what is one Stampin' Up! Tool you can't live without if you could only pick one? Okay, well, the block. But maybe that's not what you want me to say. So the blocks are like super important. They're like the most essential thing because it's what the stamp actually sticks onto. So I have a number of different sized blocks because I like my stamps to fit properly on the block. I don't like to have a block that's too big for the size of the stamp. So I would say that's my one tool that I can't live without. But next in line would definitely be the die cutting machine. Ooh, love the die cutting machine. Okay, but those of you who are out there, you can answer differently. I don't know, but that's my answer for the Q&A. Okay, any other questions? Otherwise, we'll call it a night. And I know some people will watch the replay, so I'll give it, I don't know, I don't want to give it a whole week. That's kind of a long time. Maybe I'll give it after the weekend, right? After the long weekend. So after Monday, I'll do the draw. And, oh yeah, the paper cutter. Of course, the paper trimmer. Yes, Serena, the paper trimmer. The block, paper trimmer, then the die cutting machine. Maybe in that order. Okay, so thanks for joining me for my first ever Facebook Live Q&A. I hope I answered some questions about my stamping journey. I hope I gave you some information about the starter kit. I do want to let you know, just remind you again, that if you want to take advantage of the starter kit, if you want to do it within the next 24 hours, I can even give you an extra bonus of sending you the tutorials that I sent my team last month, just to give you a little, a little extra perk that I gave my team last month. So every month I send my team tutorials and we have those team meetings, but and then you saw the make and takes for this month. So yeah, if you want to take advantage, so that was one of the questions I wondered if someone was going to ask what the catch is. There's really no catch. You're welcome to stay active as long as you want. Keep up the perks as long as you want. You're welcome to do it. Just be a happy shopper as long as you want. Enjoy the discount, or you're welcome to make a career out of it as I did. The choice is yours. So that's it. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Thanks for tuning in, and have a good evening. Bye. Thanks for joining me.